I am Michael, the Archangel, the commander of the armies of God. And I have a secret to tell you, one that was not meant to remain a secret much longer. What has been happening in the invisible realm of your financial life, what the angels have been working on, what the throne of heaven has been orchestrating in the background of your story. It is about to become visible. And when it does, the bank is going to be shocked. Not mildly surprised, not slightly puzzled, shocked. Because the new balance that is about to appear in your account is unlike anything the earthly financial system would have predicted, projected, or planned for based on your history. It defies the models. It breaks the formulas. It is beyond the scope of what their spreadsheets and algorithms and risk assessments could have generated. Because it did not come from the financial system. It came from heaven. And heaven's resources are not constrained by what the bank knows how to handle. I have been assigned to your life specifically for this season. My assignment is the protection and the facilitation of a financial transformation of such magnitude that the enemy has been fighting against it with everything at his disposal. He knew this was coming. He has been working for years to prevent your bank account from reaching the number it is about to reach, through obstacles, through delays, through financial setbacks that seemed to be natural, but were spiritually engineered. But the God of heaven has overruled every interference. The decree stands. The transformation is happening. And I am here, delivering this message directly to your spirit, to make sure you are in position to receive what the angels have been working to release. The secret is this: your new balance is already written in heaven. The number is already decided. The decree is already signed. What is about to happen in your earthly account is simply the physical manifestation of a spiritual reality that has already been established at the throne of God. The bank will be shocked by the new balance. But I, Michael, am not shocked. I have seen the decree, I know the number, and I have been part of the work that is bringing it into the visible world. Today is the day it becomes visible. Chapter 1. Why the bank does not see this coming. Child of God, I want to explain why the bank is shocked. Why the earthly financial system has no framework for what is about to appear in your account. Because understanding this will help you receive the blessing correctly. Not with pride or arrogance, but with the deep, grounded understanding of where it came from. The bank's models are based on historical data. They look at what has been and project what will be, using the logic of natural cause and effect. Based on your financial history, your income patterns, your spending patterns, your debt levels, your credit history, their projection of your account balance looks a certain way. It does not look like the number that is about to appear. It cannot look like that number using their methods, because their methods do not account for the input of heaven. When I speak of heaven's input, I am speaking of something that is entirely outside the bank's models. The decree of God over a person's financial life is not a variable that earthly financial analysts track. The release of divine provision through supernatural channels is not a line item in their spreadsheet. The movement of resources from the heavenly account to the earthly account is not a transaction type their systems recognize. And so, when the result of all of those invisible heavenly movements suddenly appears in your balance, the only honest response the earthly financial system has is shock. This is not the first time in history that the appearance of divine provision has shocked the systems of the world. Joseph's management of Egypt's resources, the preservation of abundance through years of plenty, and the release of it through years of famine, was beyond what anyone predicted. The widow's cruse of oil, multiplying beyond every natural expectation, would have shocked any accounting system that tried to track it. The feeding of 5,000 from 5 loaves and 2 fish would have registered as impossible in any earthly logistical analysis. Heaven does not follow the earthly financial system's rules, and the number that is appearing in your account does not follow those rules either. Write in the comments right now, my new balance comes from heaven, not from the earthly financial system. The bank is shocked because God moved. I receive it with gratitude and humility. Let that declaration establish the correct framework for everything you are about to receive. Chapter 2. The secret work that preceded the visible balance. Child of God, the new balance that is about to appear in your account did not happen suddenly. It is the visible conclusion of a long sequence of invisible work. Work that has been happening in the spiritual realm. Work that I and the angels assigned to your life have been doing for an extended season. I want to tell you about some of that work, because it will transform your gratitude from a surface emotion into a deep, informed appreciation for the full extent of what was done on your behalf. The first dimension of the secret work was the clearing. Your financial life had accumulated spiritual barriers, patterns, blockages, agreements with lack, spiritual residue from financial wounds and disappointments that were actively hindering the flow of divine provision. The clearing work involved the dismantling of those barriers one by one. It was not glamorous, it was not dramatic. It was patient, precise, persistent work in the spiritual realm, identifying each barrier, applying the authority of heaven to dissolve it, and ensuring that the channel between the heavenly provision and your earthly account was genuinely open rather than merely partially open. The second dimension of the secret work was the positioning. The provision that is about to appear in your account did not originate at your front door. It originated in the resources of heaven, and it has been traveling through a sequence of divinely arranged circumstances and human decisions, from its origin to your account. People were moved to make decisions they would not have otherwise made. Circumstances were arranged to create openings that would not otherwise have existed. Legal situations resolved in ways that were more favorable than expected. Financial channels opened that had previously been closed. All of this required careful, intentional, precisely timed work in the spiritual realm, orchestrated by me and the angels under my command, according to the specific decree God made over your financial life. The third dimension was the protection. As the provision moved toward your account through the channels I described, the enemy was mounting interference. He was attempting to divert the provision, to create obstacles in its path, to arrange circumstances that would redirect it away from you. My specific assignment has been the protection of the provision during its transit, ensuring that what was decreed for you arrived to you, without loss, without diversion, without the enemy's interference reducing the amount or altering the channel. I have been on active duty in this assignment, and the provision has been protected. Today, in the first pinned comment below this message, you will find something that has been prepared as a gift for this extraordinary moment in your life. The armor of Archangel Michael, 21 prayers for protection and spiritual strength. These 21 prayers are the spiritual armor that I am placing in your hands as you enter the season of visible blessing. Because the reception of a visible financial transformation is accompanied by both opportunities and vulnerabilities. And you need the armor I am providing to navigate both well. It is a gift, not a product, set apart for the one who receives this message with faith. Go to the first pinned comment now. Claim your armor. This is not something you want to be without in the season you are entering. Chapter 3. The New Balance. What the number represents. Child of God. Beyond the dollar amount of the new balance that is about to appear in your account, I want to tell you what the number represents spiritually. Because the financial transformation you are receiving is a symbol as well as a reality. The new balance represents the honor of God's faithfulness. Every person who prays for financial breakthrough and waits and prays again and keeps faith through the long seasons of insufficient provision, they are making a declaration of trust in a God whose faithfulness is worth waiting for. When the new balance appears, it is not just money arriving. It is the culmination of the declaration you have been making. The visible proof that what you trusted in was worth trusting. The honor of God's faithfulness, made tangible in numbers in your account. The new balance represents the vindication of your faith. The enemy has used your financial situation as an argument against the goodness and faithfulness of God. If God loved you, you would not be in this situation. If God was real, this would not be happening. Every time that argument gained any ground in your heart, your faith suffered. The new balance arrives as the decisive refutation of that argument, not in words, but in numbers. The concrete, visible, irrefutable evidence that God is real, God is faithful, and God's love for you produces tangible results in the visible world of your experience. The new balance represents the beginning of a new chapter. The number you are going to see is not just a new amount. It is a new beginning. It marks the transition from one financial season to another, from one chapter of your story to the next. Everything that comes after this moment begins from a different starting point. The decisions you make, the plans you create, the goals you pursue, all of them begin from the foundation of the new balance rather than from the foundation of the old one. The number is a threshold, and you are stepping through it. Comment below. I receive the new balance as the honor of God's faithfulness, the vindication of my faith, and the beginning of a new chapter. I am stepping through the threshold. Let that declaration carry all three dimensions of meaning. Chapter 4. What Archangel Michael's protection looks like in this season. Child of God, I want to be specific about the nature of my protection in your life right now, because the season of receiving a visible financial transformation is a particularly vulnerable season. The new balance attracts attention from heaven and from the other direction, and the protection I am providing is calibrated to the specific threats that accompany visible abundance. The first threat is the wrong people. When your financial situation visibly changes, people will take notice. Some of them are genuinely celebrating for you, but some will be attracted by the resources rather than by the relationship. Some will come with requests, with proposals, with needs, with agendas that are primarily motivated by the new numbers rather than by genuine love for you. My protection in this area is twofold: discernment and boundaries. I am sharpening your spiritual discernment so that you can distinguish between the genuine relationships and the resource-attracted ones. And I am helping you establish boundaries that protect the blessing from being inappropriately drained by those who are drawn to it for the wrong reasons. The second threat is pride. Visible financial transformation can subtly shift the posture of a person's heart from gratitude to pride, from "I received this from God" to "I have achieved this through my own worthiness." The shift is rarely dramatic or sudden. It happens in small increments, and it is always facilitated by the enemy who knows that pride is the most effective long-term weapon against sustained blessing. My protection in this area is the ongoing reminder, through the quiet voice of the Holy Spirit, through the promptings that come in prayer, through the regular practice of gratitude and giving, that every good thing comes from above. Stay humble. Stay grateful. Let the new balance increase your acknowledgement of God's faithfulness, rather than your sense of your own adequacy. The third threat is mismanagement. The most common way that financial miracles become temporary rather than permanent is mismanagement. The rapid, euphoric, unplanned deployment of the provision on things that consume rather than multiply it. I am not assigned to control your financial decisions, but I am here to help, to bring wisdom signals to your spirit when you are about to make a decision that would compromise the sustainability of the blessing. When you sense a check in your spirit before a major financial decision, pause. Ask me about it. I may be signaling that this is not the right decision or the right timing. Comment below. I receive Archangel Michael's protection against wrong people, pride, and mismanagement. I will stay humble, discerning, and wisely managed. Let that declaration of protected reception be your commitment to navigating the new season well. Also, go to the first pinned comment now. The Armor of Archangel Michael, 21. Prayers for protection and spiritual strength is waiting for you. The specific spiritual armor for every one of the threats I have just described, and for many others. 21 days of targeted, powerful prayer protection. A gift, not a product. Set apart for you. Receive it. Chapter 5. The story. The bank does not know. Child of God, I want to tell you the story that the bank does not know. The story behind the new balance that is about to shock them. Because the visible result is only the surface of a deeper story that is the real miracle. The story begins with your prayers. The ones you prayed in the dark, when no one was watching, when the faith it took to pray at all was extraordinary given what you could see with your eyes. Those prayers went somewhere. They were received by the God who records every word of faith and does not discard any of it. The bank does not know about those prayers. But I do. I was present when you prayed them. I received the commission to act on their behalf. The new balance is, in part, the visible answer to prayers that were spoken in invisible moments. The story continues with your faithfulness in small things. The way you handled what you had, imperfectly, yes, but with a genuine desire to honor me in the management of limited resources. The tithes you gave when giving felt impossible. The moments of generosity when you had little but you gave anyway. The decisions that prioritized integrity over financial advantage. The bank does not know about any of this, but it is all part of the story behind the new balance. I watched it. I recorded it. And it matters. The story includes the refusal to give up. The moments when the financial pressure was so severe that walking away from faith would have been understandable. When the silence seemed to confirm every doubt the enemy planted. When the weight seemed to exceed what any reasonable person should endure. You did not walk away. You stayed. You kept praying, kept believing, kept showing up. That refusal to quit is not accounted for in the bank's models, but it is foundational to the story behind the new balance. Because the balance is not just money, it is the harvest of persistence. Comment below. The bank sees the new balance, but I know the story. The prayers, the faithfulness, the refusal to quit. I honor the full story of this miracle. Let that complete declaration honor the depth of the journey that produced the visible result. Chapter 6. The 21 Prayers that Guard Your New Season. Child of God, I want to speak specifically about the 21 prayers of my armor, and what each group of them does in your life as you enter this new financial season. The first 7 prayers guard your mind. The temptations that accompany visible financial transformation are primarily mental: pride, fear of losing what you have received, the distorted sense of identity that comes from identifying too closely with the new balance. These 7 prayers are the helmet of salvation applied to the specific challenges of a season of abundance. Daily declarations that keep your mind anchored in the truth of who you are, who God is, and where every good thing comes from. The second 7 prayers guard your relationships. Every significant relationship in your life will be tested by the new financial season. Not because the people change, but because circumstances change, and financial change reveals the true nature of relational dynamics. These 7 prayers create a spiritual covering over your most important relationships, protect you from the wrong new relationships, and help you discern the difference between those who belong in your story and those who are drawn by the resources. The third 7 prayers guard your purpose. The greatest risk of visible financial transformation is the drift away from purpose. The possibility that abundance, which was meant to resource your calling, gradually becomes a substitute for your calling. These 7 prayers keep the connection between your provision and your purpose clear and strong. They are daily declarations that you are receiving for a reason, that you know what the reason is, and that you are committed to fulfilling it. These prayers keep the blessing pointed in the direction of the mission it was designed to serve. 21 prayers, 21 days, 3 weeks of daily, targeted, precisely designed spiritual armor for the season you are entering. This is the gift I am offering you, through the first pinned comment, where the armor of Archangel Michael. 21 prayers for protection and spiritual strength has been set apart specifically for this moment. Go there now. Receive it. Do not wait. The season you are entering deserves the full armor I am offering. Comment below. I receive Archangel Michael's 21 prayers. My mind, my relationships, and my purpose are protected. The new season begins in full armor. Let that comprehensive declaration be your commitment to the 21-day armor practice. Chapter 7. The bank employee who cannot stop talking about your account. Child of God, I want to paint a picture for you. A specific, vivid picture of the reaction of the earthly financial system to what is about to appear in your account. Not because the bank employee's reaction is the goal, but because this picture captures something true about the magnitude of what is happening. There is a person, somewhere in the banking system, whose job it is to monitor accounts, to notice unusual activity, to flag transactions that fall outside of the expected patterns. That person is going to notice your account. They are going to look at the transaction that represents the new balance, and they are going to feel the cognitive dissonance of seeing something that does not fit the pattern they have been trained to recognize. They may talk to a colleague. Look at this account. Look at what just happened here. The colleague will look. The colleague will also be puzzled, also be surprised, also be unable to explain what they are seeing in terms of the categories their training provides. They are both looking at evidence of the supernatural. They do not have a category for it. They may call it luck or a windfall or an unexpected inheritance. But those words do not capture what is actually happening. What is actually happening is that a decree of heaven has been executed, and the execution has resulted in a change in someone's account that defies the projection based on their history. The bank employee and their colleague are witnesses, probably without knowing it, to a divine financial miracle. And their shock is the secular world's honest acknowledgement of something it cannot explain. When God moves, the numbers change in ways that the earthly systems cannot account for. Let their shock be a reminder to you of the source of your blessing. Not the earthly financial system, not luck, not windfall, not any humanly explainable mechanism. God, heaven, the decree of the creator of the universe, executed by angels, landed in your account. That is the truth behind the number that shocks the bank. Hold that truth close. Comment below. The bank employee's shock is the world's witness to God's miracle. I receive this blessing knowing exactly where it came from. Declare the theological accuracy of your reception, not just grateful, but specifically, knowledgeably grateful to the specific God who sent the specific blessing. Chapter 8. How to use the new balance for maximum kingdom impact. Child of God, the new balance is not just for your personal financial security, though it certainly includes that. It is for kingdom impact. And I want to give you specific guidance on how to deploy the provision for maximum kingdom effect, because the purpose for which heaven released it matters to both me and to you. Kingdom impact through generosity. The most immediate and most reliable form of kingdom investment is direct generosity. Give to needs you know about. Give to ministries and works that are advancing what I care about in the world. Give in ways that are specific, personal, and connected to actual people and actual needs, rather than to abstract causes. Generosity that is personal, specific, and regularly practiced is the most powerful form of kingdom financial deployment. Kingdom impact through your calling. Whatever I have called you to do, whether it is a business, a ministry, a creative work, an act of service or healing or teaching or building, resource it fully. Do not underinvest in your calling now that the resources are available. The calling is the primary purpose for which the provision was sent. Treat it as the priority investment of the new balance. Kingdom impact through your community. Be a blessing in your immediate community. Your neighborhood, your extended family, your church or faith community, the people who share your daily life. These are the primary field for the kingdom impact of your new financial season. Be generous in practical, specific, relationship-based ways that demonstrate the character of a God who is personal, attentive, and generous in the details of ordinary life. Kingdom impact through testimony. Tell the story, specifically and consistently. The testimony of a financial miracle is one of the most powerful forms of evangelism and faith-building available. Your story, the new balance, the shocked bank, the God behind the numbers, is a story that will build faith in people who have stopped believing. Tell it everywhere. Let the miracle reach beyond your own account into the faith of everyone who hears your story. Comment below. I will use the new balance for kingdom impact, generosity, calling, community, and testimony. The provision has a purpose, and I will fulfill it. Commit to the full kingdom deployment of the miracle check. Chapter 9. The secret that heaven has been keeping, and why today it is revealed. Child of God, I started this message by telling you that I have a secret to tell you, and I want to close with the full revelation of what that secret is. Not just the new balance, not just the financial miracle, but the deeper secret that the financial transformation represents. The secret heaven has been keeping about your life is the extraordinary scope of what has been prepared for you. Not just the financial blessing, which is real and significant, but the full picture of the destiny that the financial freedom makes possible. Heaven has been keeping this picture carefully, releasing it to you in pieces rather than all at once, because the full picture would have been too much to hold when you were in the midst of the financial struggle. But now, as the first major dimension of the picture becomes visible through the new balance, I am releasing a broader view. The destiny prepared for you is larger than your financial transformation. It includes a specific and significant assignment in the world, a work you are called to do, a community you are called to serve, a legacy you are called to build. The financial transformation you are receiving today is the provision for that assignment. It is not the destination. It is the fuel for the journey toward the destination. The full picture of what you are here to do is about to become visible in ways that it has not been before, because you now have the resources to pursue it seriously. The secret of heaven is that your life matters far more than you have previously understood. The degree of attention, preparation, and provision that heaven has invested in your life, the prayers recorded, the angels deployed, the archangel sent, all of it points to a life that heaven considers significant. Not more significant than any other child of God. Every life is infinitely precious to me, but specifically significant, particularly purposed, precisely designed for an impact that only you can make, with the gifts only you carry, in the spaces only you will occupy. That is the secret. You matter. Your life matters. What you do with the new balance matters. And the scope of what heaven has prepared for you, from the new balance to the full deployment of your calling, is larger, more significant, and more extraordinary than you have dared to believe until now. Comment below. I receive the secret of heaven about my life, the new balance, the calling it resources, and the extraordinary scope of the destiny it opens. I receive all of it today. Let that comprehensive, awe-filled declaration be the posture of your spirit as you step into the new season. And go to the first pinned comment now. The armor of Archangel Michael, 21 prayers for protection and spiritual strength is there. The spiritual armor for the new season, the gift I am placing in your hands for the journey ahead. Receive it. Do not step into the new season without it. Also, the membership invitation, the second link in the first pinned comment, gives you access to a community of people walking through their own extraordinary journeys of faith and breakthrough. Exclusive messages, reserved guidance, closer connection. If your heart says yes, join us. Chapter 10. The final word. The bank is shocked and heaven is celebrating. Child of God, I have delivered the secret. I have spoken every word I was sent to speak. And I want to close with two truths. One about the bank and one about heaven. The truth about the bank. They are shocked. They are looking at your new balance with wide eyes and zero explanation. Their models failed. Their projections were wrong. The categories they use to understand financial reality cannot account for what they are seeing in your account. They are witnessing a miracle without knowing they are witnesses. And their shock is simply the honest response of a system that was not built to account for the God who owns everything and moves everything according to his love. The truth about heaven. Heaven is celebrating. At the throne of God, in the presence of angels, in the record of the faithful. Today is a day of rejoicing. Not because the money is impressive to heaven, where every resource originates, but because a child of God who prayed and waited and maintained faith through extraordinary difficulty is receiving the answer they were promised. That is cause for celebration in heaven. Not because it always goes this way. Not because every prayer produces a financial miracle in an hour, but because you specifically, with your specific faith and your specific perseverance, have arrived at this specific moment of answer. And heaven celebrates because love is always celebrating when the beloved receives what love prepared. Stand up. Final declaration. Speak it with everything you have. Michael has revealed the secret. The bank is shocked by my new balance, but I know where it came from, what it cost heaven to arrange, what it means for my life and my calling. I receive it in full gratitude. I will steward it with wisdom. I will deploy it for kingdom impact. I will tell the story so that others believe. And I will wear the armor that Michael has given me, so that every dimension of the new season is protected and full. In Jesus' name, the new balance is mine. The new season has begun, and I will not waste a single day of it. Write that in the comments, every word, and go to the first pinned comment. The armor of Archangel Michael. 21 prayers for protection and spiritual strength is your gift for this moment and this season. Receive it. The bank is shocked. Heaven is celebrating. And you, child of God, beloved of the Father, guarded by Michael, are stepping into the most extraordinary chapter of your life. The secret is out. The balance has changed. Walk in it. Chapter 11. The secret that Michael has been keeping until today. My beloved child, the secret that Archangel Michael has been keeping, the one referenced in the title of this message, is not simply the amount of your new balance. It is something deeper and more extraordinary than any number could contain. The secret Michael has been protecting is the full scope of what your life was always meant to be. The totality of the destiny, the calling, the provision, and the impact that was written over your life before your first breath. And that has been held in the heavenly archives as a secure record of who you truly are and what you truly came to do. Your new bank balance is one visible, tangible piece of that secret being revealed. It is the financial dimension of a destiny that encompasses so much more. Your relationships, your creative gifts, your calling in the world, your role in your family, your place in the community of faith, and the specific contribution your life is designed to make to the people and purposes that I have placed in your path. The balance that shocked the bank is not the destination of the secret. It is a marker on the road to the full revelation of everything that was always written for your life. Michael has been keeping this secret in the sense of protecting it, fighting the battles that prevented the enemy from destroying or permanently obscuring what was prepared for you. ensuring that the pathway to the full revelation of your destiny remained navigable despite every attack. The attacks were real. The enemy knew the scope of what was written for your life, and he attacked at every point that seemed most vulnerable. Your confidence, your faith, your relationships, your finances, your health, your sense of calling. And Michael and his forces engaged at every point of attack, ensuring that none of those attacks resulted in the permanent loss of what was prepared. Today, Michael reveals the secret. Not all of it at once. The full scope of your destiny unfolds through time, through seasons, through the successive chapters of a story that is still being written. But a significant piece of it becomes visible today, in the balance that shocked the bank, and in the reality that balance represents. Receive the revealed piece as the gift it is, and receive it as a sample of the full revelation still to come. Write in the comments. Michael has revealed a piece of the secret today. The new balance is one dimension of a destiny that encompasses everything I was always meant to be. Declare the full multidimensional scope of what is being revealed. Chapter 12. The balance that changes everything. Understanding its spiritual weight. My beloved child, the new balance in your bank account carries a spiritual weight that the bank systems cannot measure, and that the people who process the transaction cannot perceive. I want to help you understand that weight, because the way you perceive the balance determines the way you receive it and the way you carry it forward. The new balance carries the weight of answered prayer. Every prayer you have prayed, specifically about provision, about the season of lack, about the dreams that seemed impossible to fund, about the family needs that felt beyond resolution, is present in that number. Not metaphorically. The number is the answer to those prayers. Each prayer added something to the spiritual account that was building toward this moment. The balance is the natural world translation of a spiritual account that has been accumulating for a long time. The new balance carries the weight of covenant faithfulness. The God who promised provision, who declared in my word that he meets every need of his children according to his riches and glory, is keeping his word in the specific details of your specific account. The balance is a statement of covenant faithfulness that is more eloquent than any theological argument. It says, the promises are real. The covenant is reliable. The God who speaks also delivers. And you, specifically you, are the proof. The new balance carries the weight of testimony. All the future testimonies that will be spoken because this number changed today. Every person you tell, every life that is influenced by your testimony, every faith that is strengthened by the specific evidence of your answered prayers, all of those future impacts are present in the balance right now, as potential that the visible number is about to release into the world. Comment below. The new balance carries the weight of answered prayer, covenant faithfulness, and the testimony that will change other lives. I receive all three dimensions of its weight. Declare the full spiritual weight of the number that changed. Chapter 13. Why the bank's shock is your testimony. My beloved child, the fact that the bank was shocked, that the people who handle money professionally, who see countless accounts and are trained to receive financial information without emotional reaction, found themselves responding with shock, is itself one of the most powerful dimensions of your testimony. Testimony is most powerful when it includes evidence that cannot be dismissed as imagination, wishful thinking, or spiritual metaphor. God provided financially is a faith statement that requires the hearer to take the speaker's word for it. God provided so specifically and so substantially that the bank's staff was visibly shocked is a statement that is grounded in a third-party witness, a confirmation from people who had no stake in the outcome and no reason to be impressed, except that the reality in front of them was genuinely impressive. When you tell your testimony, and you must tell it, include the bank's reaction. Include the specific details of how the people in the financial institution responded to the new balance. The shock in their eyes, the double take at the screen, the call to a colleague, the verification process that their protocols required. All of those reactions are the testimony of witnesses who did not come to your story with faith, and who were surprised by the reality they encountered anyway. Those witnesses are extraordinarily valuable to the person who hears your testimony and wants to believe but needs evidence that goes beyond the believer's personal account. Tell the bank's story as part of your story. And when the balance appeared, the people at the bank were shocked. Those words, in your testimony, are the third-party confirmation that makes your account undeniable. Use them. Tell the whole story. And let the shock of the people who measure money for a living be the evidence that what happened was genuinely beyond the natural. Comment below. The bank's shock is part of my testimony. I will tell the whole story, including their reaction, because it is the evidence that makes the miracle undeniable. Declare your commitment to telling the complete testimony. Chapter 14. The protection. Michael provides for your new balance. My beloved child, now that the new balance is visible, now that the secret has been revealed and the provision has arrived, I want to speak to you about the protection that Michael provides for the balance going forward. Because the enemy who fought to prevent the provision from arriving will now attempt to undermine, deplete, or destroy the provision in the season after its arrival. And Michael's assignment does not end with the revelation, it continues. Michael's protection of your new balance operates on several levels. At the level of spiritual attack, every scheme the enemy designs to create financial loss through unexpected catastrophe, through the influence of the wrong people, through decisions made in moments of pressure or confusion, Michael's assignment includes the disruption of those schemes before they reach the level of execution. You will not be fully aware of the attacks that are being disrupted. But you will, at various points, notice with gratitude that something difficult that seemed to be heading towards you turned aside at the last moment, or that a decision you were about to make was checked by an internal sense of wrongness that prevented a costly mistake. At the level of wisdom provision, Michael's assignment also involves facilitating the delivery of wisdom, often through specific people, specific moments of clarity in prayer, specific insights in the reading of Scripture, that guides your stewardship of the new balance. When you are facing a significant financial decision and you sense a deep, settled clarity about the right direction, even when that direction surprises you or runs counter to the conventional wisdom, that is often the result of the wisdom-facilitating dimension of Michael's assignment. Trust those moments of clarity. Act on them. At the level of multiplication protection, Michael guards the channels through which the new balance will multiply, the investments, the business activities, the giving that generates spiritual return, the relationships that create new financial opportunity. His protection ensures that the most productive of those channels remain open and that the destructive ones are closed before you commit resources to them. Comment below. Michael's protection extends over my new balance, disrupting attacks, facilitating wisdom, and guarding the channels of multiplication. I walk in the security of that protection. Declare your awareness and your gratitude for Michael's ongoing assignment. Chapter 15. From Shocked Bank to Changed World, the Impact Trajectory. My beloved child, I want to trace the impact trajectory of the balance that shocked the bank, beginning with the immediate, personal impact and extending outward in concentric circles to the widest possible reach of what this provision enables. Circle 1. Your family. The immediate personal impact of the new balance is the transformation of your family's daily reality. The provision removes financial stress, resolves outstanding obligations, and creates the stability that allows your family relationships to flourish without the constant background noise of insufficient resources. Children grow up in a home where money is managed with wisdom and generosity, rather than anxiously stretched. A spouse or partner experiences a new quality of partnership in a life that is no longer dominated by financial crisis management. Parents or dependents are provided for with a generosity that reflects the overflow rather than the sacrifice. The family circle is the first and most direct recipient of the impact. Circle 2. Your community. The provision empowers your engagement with the community around you in ways that were previously limited by insufficient resources. The giving, the investment in others, the support of causes that matter to you and to me. All of these expand significantly when the financial foundation is strong. The community around you begins to experience the ripple effects of a person who has been transformed by divine provision, and who carries that transformation outward through active, generous, purposeful engagement. Circle 3. Your sphere of influence. As your testimony is told and your transformed life becomes visible, the impact extends to everyone who is aware of your story and touched by your testimony. People in your relational network who were discouraged about their own possibilities are re-encouraged. People who had given up on prayer for financial breakthrough recommit their faith. People who did not believe in God encounter the evidence of your testimony and find their skepticism challenged in a way that opens them to genuine inquiry. Circle 4. The generations. The full reach of the impact trajectory extends to the generations who will come after you. your children's children, and theirs, in a family line that was permanently shifted in its trajectory by the provision you received and the stewardship you exercised with it. The legacy of what happened in your account today, told in family stories, lived in the template of financial faith you created, expressed in the structures and patterns of a family that relates to money as covenant stewards, outlasts every individual who was part of it. Comment below. The impact of my new balance moves outward in 4 circles: family, community, sphere of influence, and generations. I receive the provision with the full weight of its intended reach. Claim the complete impact trajectory. Chapter 16. The final word from Archangel Michael and the God who sent him. My beloved child, we have arrived at the end of this extraordinary message, and I want to close it with the final word from Archangel Michael, and from me, the God who sent him, delivered to you in this final chapter with all the weight and the love of heaven behind it. Michael says, "Child of God, the secret is revealed. The balance has changed. The assignment I was given over your finances has reached its first great milestone, the visible, natural manifestation of the provision that was decreed over your life before time began. The bank's shock is the testimony of heaven breaking through into the natural world. And the life that opens on the other side of this revelation is the life you were always meant to be living. I will continue to be with you. The assignment does not end here. It continues into every subsequent chapter of the story that today's revelation opens. Walk forward in the knowledge of your protection, your provision, and your purpose. You are accompanied, and I say, my beloved child, I love you. The new balance is not the measure of that love. It is one expression of it. The measure of my love is beyond any number. But in this specific hour, at this specific moment in your story, the expression of my love is a number that shocked the bank and is about to transform your life. Receive it as love, steward it as love, give from it as love, and live every day of the extraordinary life it opens as a person who knows that they are loved, specifically, personally, deeply, comprehensively, and permanently, by the God who arranged everything you have read in this message, just to make sure you knew. Stand up one final time. Speak the declaration of the day. The bank is shocked, and I am not. I am at peace, in faith, in gratitude, and in the full reception of the new balance that heaven decreed. Michael stood for me in the spiritual realm. God loves me in the natural one. And today, on this specific day, the secret was revealed, the balance was changed, and my life entered a new chapter that I will never look back from. In Jesus' name, it is done. Walk in it. Every day. Amen. Write that in the comments. Every word. Let it be the permanent record of the day Archangel Michael's secret was revealed, and the bank was shocked. And you received it all with faith, with peace, and with the deepest gratitude you have ever felt. Chapter 17. Michael's message to you in the season after the revelation. My beloved child, Archangel Michael, whose assignment over your life has been instrumental in bringing you to this moment, has a specific message for you about the season that follows the revelation of the new balance. I want to deliver that message to you in this chapter, because understanding what Michael is saying about the season ahead is crucial to navigating it with the wisdom and the faith it requires. Michael says, the revelation of the new balance is not the end of my assignment over your life. It is the opening of a new dimension of it. Before the revelation, I was fighting primarily for the delivery of what had been promised. In the season ahead, I will be fighting for the protection and the multiplication of what has been delivered. The enemy did not give up when the balance changed. He shifted his strategy. Instead of trying to prevent the provision from arriving, he will now attempt to cause the provision to be lost. Through unwise decisions, through the influence of people who do not have your best interests at heart, through schemes designed to drain the resource before it can be deployed for its intended purposes. Be spiritually alert, not anxious, alert. The difference between anxiety and alertness is the difference between fear-based vigilance and faith-based attentiveness. I am not asking you to be afraid of every decision and suspicious of every person. I am asking you to maintain the spiritual disciplines, the prayer, the wisdom-seeking, the counsel-gathering, the sensitivity to the voice of the Spirit, that keep your decision-making connected to the guidance of heaven, rather than the wisdom of the natural mind alone. Those disciplines are your primary protection in the season after the revelation. Not human cleverness, not financial sophistication, the ongoing, real-time guidance of the Spirit of God, sought and followed in every significant decision. And know this: every significant decision you face in this new season, you do not face alone. Bring them to the Father in prayer. Listen for the guidance that comes, and act in alignment with what you hear. The combination of your willingness to seek guidance and my assignment to protect and facilitate the multiplication of the provision is a combination that cannot be consistently defeated by the enemy. Walk in it confidently. Comment below. Michael continues his assignment in the season after the revelation, fighting for the protection and multiplication of the new balance. I maintain the spiritual disciplines that connect me to heaven's guidance. Declare your spiritual alertness in the new season. Chapter 18. The Shocked Bank and the Grateful Heart. What the contrast teaches. My beloved child, I want to reflect one more time on the contrast between the bank's shock and your peace, because that contrast is not accidental, and it teaches something important about the difference between two fundamentally different ways of relating to the reality of divine provision. The bank is shocked because the new balance does not fit its model of how financial reality works. Its model is based on the accumulation of natural causes: income, savings, investment returns, transfers from known sources. When a balance changes in a way that falls outside that model, the model-dependent mind reacts with shock. The shock is the reaction of a system that can only account for what it can explain, encountering something it cannot explain. The bank's shock is the natural world encountering the supernatural and having no category for what it is seeing. Your peace is the response of a person who has a different model. A model that includes the supernatural as a normal, expected, regularly occurring dimension of reality. Your model says, God keeps his promises. Divine provision is real. The supernatural is not an anomaly in my life. It is the regular, expected, deeply welcome expression of a God whose character is provision and whose love for me is active and specific. When the balance changes in a way that confirms this model, your response is not shock. It is the confirmation of what you already knew to be true. Yes, exactly this. The promise kept. The provision arrived. Exactly as I believed it would. That peace is the peace of a person who was not surprised because their model of reality was large enough to contain what happened. The contrast between the bank's shock and your peace is the contrast between a natural model and a supernatural one. And your invitation, your calling, actually, is to help others build the supernatural model. Not by argument or persuasion, but by testimony. By telling the story of the new balance, the bank's shock, and your peace, and letting the contrast in the story be the invitation that opens a space in the listener's imagination for a different, larger, more accurate model of how reality actually works. Comment below. The bank's shock and my peace tell the same story from two different models of reality. I will tell the story to help others build the larger model. Declare your testimony of the contrast between natural shock and supernatural peace. Chapter 19. The New Normal and the Grace to Live It Well. My beloved child, as the new balance settles, as the shock of the initial arrival gives way to the familiar reality of the new normal, there is a grace that I want to speak over your life for the season of inhabiting that new normal. The grace to live well in abundance, which is its own specific challenge and its own specific requirement of spiritual maturity. Many people who receive significant provision find that the new normal creates challenges they did not fully anticipate. Challenges of identity, of relationship, of priorities, of time. The life of significant provision is genuinely different from the life of constrained provision, and the transition between them involves a learning curve that the grace I am speaking over you will help navigate. That grace includes wisdom for the new decisions, patience with the learning process, and the ability to maintain the spiritual practices and the relational investments that produce the good character of the pre-abundance season, even in the changed circumstances of the post-abundance one. The new normal requires that you stay yourself. The values that characterized you in the season of scarcity, the generosity of a person who gave even when giving cost, the faith of a person who believed even when believing was difficult, the integrity of a person who maintained their character under pressure. Those values are more important in the season of abundance, not less. The person you become in the new normal should be recognizably the same person who entered it, more resourced, more expressed, more freely themselves. but not fundamentally different in character or values. The provision should amplify who you are, not change who you are. And the new normal requires that you share the grace. The grace I am giving you to live in abundance well, the wisdom, the freedom, the peace, the character that the abundant season requires, is not only for you. It is the grace that you will share with others who are entering their own seasons of abundance, who are navigating their own learning curves of the new normal, and who need the specific guidance of someone who has walked it before them. You are becoming a guide. The new balance is not only your destination, it is the beginning of your qualification to lead others toward theirs. Write your very final declaration in the comments. The new normal is mine to inhabit with grace, staying myself, sharing the grace, living the abundance in a way that honors God and serves others. The bank was shocked. I was not. And I walk into the new normal with everything I am. Let that be the closing word of the day Archangel Michael's secret was revealed, and the most extraordinary chapter of your financial life began. Chapter 20. The secret now told. How the revelation changes everything. My beloved child, Michael's secret was kept until the right moment. And now that it has been revealed, now that the new balance is visible, the shock is real, and the testimony has begun, I want to speak about what changes when the secret is told. Because the revelation of the secret is not only a financial event, it is a spiritual one, with implications that extend through every dimension of your life. The secret being revealed changes your narrative. Before the revelation, the narrative of your financial life was a story without adequate resolution. A story of need, of faith, of waiting, but without the turn that brings the story to its promised destination. The revelation provides the turn. From this day forward, your narrative includes the day the bank was shocked, the day the new balance appeared, the day Archangel Michael's secret was fully disclosed in your natural world account. That narrative turn cannot be undone. It is part of your story forever, dated, specific, undeniable, and irreversibly there as the evidence of what your faith received and what your God delivered. The secret being revealed changes your authority. Every testimony has a level of spiritual authority proportional to the specificity and the scale of the divine action it witnesses. The testimony of the new balance, a balance specific enough and large enough that the bank's professional staff were shocked, carries exceptional authority. When you speak about God's faithfulness and financial provision with this testimony behind you, the words carry the weight of demonstrated, witnessed, professionally verified evidence. That authority is a gift, not for your personal glory, but for the service of every person whose faith needs the specific, undeniable evidence that your testimony provides. The secret being revealed also changes your expectation. You know now, from first-hand experience, that I can change a number in a way that shocks the professionals who see numbers every day. That knowledge changes the ceiling of your expectation for every future interaction with divine provision. You will never again approach a prayer for financial miracle with the same baseline of doubt that was present before this day, because you have seen it. And seeing is the end of that particular category of doubt. Comment below. The secret revealed changes my narrative, my authority, and my expectation permanently. I carry these changes as gifts for the rest of my life. Declare the 3 permanent changes the revelation produces. Chapter 21. Michael's assignment in your future. Ongoing protection and multiplication. My beloved child, I want to close this message with a forward-looking word about Archangel Michael's ongoing assignment in your life. Because understanding what Michael continues to do in your future helps you walk forward with the specific kind of confidence and the specific kind of spiritual attentiveness that the assignment requires from you in return. In your future, Michael continues to fight for the multiplication of what has been revealed. The new balance is the beginning, not the sum total. The season of financial transformation that has been opened by today's revelation is designed to multiply. The provision growing, the doors opening, the opportunities arriving, the income increasing. Over time, through the compounding of wise decisions, strategic investments, and the ongoing blessing that flows to a life aligned with kingdom purposes. Michael's assignment includes fighting for the openness of the multiplication channels and the closing of the channels that would drain or destroy the provision. In your future, Michael also continues to guard the testimony. The testimony of the bank's shock and the new balance is a weapon of faith, a specific, powerful, irrefutable piece of evidence that will be used in the service of many other people's faith over the coming years. The enemy will try to diminish the testimony, to make you doubt the reality of what happened, to create circumstances that seem to contradict it, to make the memory fade before it has done its full work of faith-building in the people who need to hear it. Michael guards against this, not by preventing difficulty from arising, but by ensuring that the testimony remains clear, powerful, and accessible in your memory, and in your telling for as long as it is needed. In your future, Michael walks beside you into every new chapter that the new balance opens. Every new relationship, every new opportunity, every new engagement with the vision and the calling and the work that the provision is meant to resource. Not as a passive companion, but as an active guardian, watching, fighting, facilitating, opening doors, and protecting the pathway of the extraordinary life that the revelation of today's secret has inaugurated. Write your absolutely final declaration. Archangel Michael continues his assignment over my life, fighting for multiplication, guarding the testimony, and accompanying me into every new chapter. I walk forward with the confidence of a person who is specifically guarded by specific heavenly assignment. The secret has been revealed. The new balance is real. The testimony is mine to tell. And the extraordinary chapter of my life, with Michael beside me and God before me, begins and continues today. Every word in the comments. The secret was kept until now. Now it is told. And the life it opens is yours to walk in. Fully, faithfully, and forever. Chapter 22. The balance, the bank, and the bigger story. What today means for tomorrow. My beloved child, the bank's shock and your new balance are today's story. But today's story is the opening chapter of a bigger story. One that extends far beyond the current financial situation and reaches into every dimension of the life that the new balance enables and requires you to build. The bigger story begins with the balance, the specific, tangible, undeniable evidence that the decree was real, that the angels were working, that the God of the universe arranged an event specific enough and large enough that financial professionals were shocked. That beginning, that specific, dated, professionally witnessed beginning, is the foundation of everything that follows. You can always return to it. On this date, this happened. That specificity is a gift, because the most powerful testimonies are the most specific ones, and this testimony has a specificity that most never have. The bigger story continues with what you do with the balance. The decisions, guided by wisdom and prayer and wise counsel, that deploy the provision toward its three-dimensional purposes. The family that experiences the transformed reality of a home that is no longer defined by scarcity. The calling that is finally fully resourced and freely pursued. The generosity that flows from an overflow that exceeds personal need and creates real impact in the lives of others. Each of these deployments is a chapter in the bigger story. Specific, dated, purposeful expressions of a provision received and stewarded with integrity and faith. The bigger story culminates in the testimony. Told fully, told often. Told with the specificity that makes it undeniable and the authenticity that makes it compelling. Every person who hears the story of the bank's shock and the new balance and the extraordinary life it opened becomes a potential recipient of the faith that the story carries. And each one who receives that faith and finds their own breakthrough through it adds another chapter to the bigger story. The story of provision that ripples outward through testimony and faith and changed lives until the impact of one day's revelation of Archangel Michael's secret has touched more lives than you will ever be able to count. Write your final word. The balance is today's story. The bigger story extends through every deployment, every testimony, and every life changed by the ripple. I am a character in the bigger story, not just its recipient, but its ongoing expression. Michael's secret was revealed for a reason larger than my balance, and I will live that reason fully. Every word. In the comments. The secret is out. The story is bigger than any of us imagined. Walk in it completely.